Thank you so much, Stephanie. It's now my honor to introduce Emily Kinkead. Since 2020, Representative Emily Kinkead has served Pennsylvania's 20th State House District, Grass Township, Avalon, Bellevue, and Westview boroughs, and parts of the city of Pittsburgh. In her first term, she was assigned to serve on the House Appropriations, Judiciary, Human Services, and Agriculture and Rural Affairs Committees. Currently, she serves as Secretary of both the Human Services and Agriculture Committees. Additionally, she serves as Chair of the Judiciary Subcommittee on Crime and Corrections and the Appropriations Subcommittee on Fiscal Policy. She is the House Chair of the Legislative Hunger Caucus and on the leadership team of the Pennsylvania Progressive Caucus. After earning degrees in biology and political science at Williamsburg University of Pennsylvania, she began her career working and advocating for people with disabilities in Washington, D.C. She then pivoted to the work she had started in college, advocating for good government reform. While working toward her law degree at the University of Pittsburgh School of Law, she interned at a legal aid clinic in Eldoret, Kenya, protecting the rights of HIV+ individuals and victims of gender and domestic violence. A staunch believer that government's calling is to do the most good for the most people, Kinkead has vocally championed the policies that help working families and raise up communities, criminal justice reform, addressing food insecurity, affordable housing, livable wages, worker protections, healthcare, LGBTQIA+ equality, reproductive justice, adequately funding education, and much, much more. So welcome.
Thank you all for being here today. This is an incredibly important topic to talk about. I've spent a lot of my time in the legislature working on criminal justice reform issues. And the simple fact of the matter is criminal justice reform isn't just working to ensure that things are fair for people who have committed crimes, but that they are fair for people who are the victims of crimes. And I'm really proud to be working with my colleagues across the aisle to ensure that we are addressing this really significant loophole in our law. We should not be treating violating a PFA as the cost of doing business for a user. There is no excuse to allow somebody to continue to violate someone's safety, someone's sense of peace, and have there be basically no consequences. Because the reality is that when PFA violations happen, when they go to the courts, frequently they are heard by different judges. And different judges are not looking at how many previous violations there were. And that is a problem. Because when somebody is flagrantly and repeatedly violating a PFA, it undermines the sanctity of a court order. And it undermines the ability for people to feel safe in their own body and in their own space. Everyone should have that right. Everyone has the right to feel safe and at peace in their own home, in their workplace, in their daily life. And if we can do something at the legislative level to address that, then we should. Because that is governing. That is the simple basis of governing. The idea that we are allowing people to continue to violate PFAs and not doing the work to address it and to make sure that there is a tiered system to hold people accountable for repeated violations is, the time is up. We cannot allow this to continue on. So I am proud to be doing three things. One, I'm working with a colleague to expand the address confidentiality program to ensure that those who participate in the address confidentiality program also are able to buy homes. Because right now the address confidentiality program does not cover real property deeds, and it should, because no one should be locked into renting for the rest of their life because someone has violated their safety. The other pieces that I'm working on with my colleagues are twofold. One, to create a tiered system to address PFA violations and repeated PFA violations. And the second piece is to ensure that if someone commits a crime while violating a PFA, that there is an enhancement to that sentence. Because there should be further consequences for someone who disregards a court order and violates somebody's rights, their safety, commits a crime. The idea that we are allowing people to commit crimes and not have the consequences of those actions really holistically addressed is a problem. And so I'm proud to be working on those three pieces of legislation, and I'm proud to be able to work across the aisle to make that happen. And we need to get this done, because people in Pennsylvania deserve to feel safe no matter who they are, where they live, or who has hurt them in the past. So thank you all for your advocacy, because this is so incredibly important, and thank you all for coming here today to hear about this really critical need.